The Clothesline Project is an annual event organized by the Violence Prevention Team in the Coalition of Women Students. The Clothesline Project started at WSU in the early 90s by women activists. Each shirt is made by a survivor or friend of survivor. The tabling and therapy dogs, including Kip right there, the poodle, will not be here unfortunately, but their stories will be here for the rest of this week. I also talked to Matt. He's an alumni of WSU. He owns Chileo. He's with his 2 kids, and they're handing out testers. Now, if you don't mind panning for me, Levi, we have Cotton Creations to my right. We have gems, jewelry all back here in this corner. We have bath bombs, and the entire fair spans the entire Coliseum. There's a lot to see here. You should come check it out. Back to you guys at the desk. I'm standing in front of Paradise Street. They just painted the lines for the two-way 10 minutes ago. Right now it's still being used as a one-way, but around 7:30 p.m. tonight, it should be shut down, including all of Main Street. Over by Bishop Boulevard, it's the semi-truck detour, so by then you should not be using the two-way street because it's too small for semi-trucks. Today is the last day of Student Employment Week. Right now, the Academic Success and Career Center is handing out Ferdinands to employed students of Washington State University. All you have to do is put down your email and you can get a bite. Traffic is piling up on Highway 195 earlier today after a major crash.
We'll let you know which section of road is backed up next on Murrow News 8.
The Boise Police Department is searching for 2 suspects after a shooting took place early this morning at St. Alphonsus Regional Medical Center. The shooting was motivated by a planned inmate breakout. One of the suspects is Skylar Mead, the escaped inmate, and the other is unknown at this time. What is known is that they escaped in a silver gray 4-door sedan, and they believe it's a Honda Civic with Idaho license plates. Mead was on administrative segregation, which happens when inmates are determined to be unable to live among other inmates due to threats to inmates, staff, or other people within the facility. Mead was determined to need hospital care due to self-inflicted injury, and he was discharged close to 2 a.m. this morning, which is when the second suspect ambushed the correctional officers, striking 2 of them. Washington State is experiencing its first known outbreak of a new fungal infection, Candida auris. Health officials are warning that it could lead to illnesses and spread amongst patients in healthcare facilities. 4 patients in the last month have tested positive for it in Washington. It is currently unclear what the initial source of the infection is, and officials say the investigation is ongoing. Cougar baseball won 5-1 at Utah Tech last Sunday and won the series 3-1. 4 Cougs had a 2-hit game. Max Hartman, Alan Shibley, Kaysen Taggart, and Nate Schwartz. Cougars are set to play Kentucky, Kansas, and Texas State in Round Rock Classic on Friday at 12 p.m. You can stream it on d1baseball.com. Over the past couple of months, there has been a lot of work done on the new Taylor Sports Complex. The express storage fire that started around noon on Thursday, February 8th, still does not have a clear cause, and it could take months to investigate. It started from the second unit in from the road. I talked to Whitman County Chief Fire Investigator Lester Irwin to ask him whether they suspected anything suspicious.
We believe it was an accidental, like I say, electrical or something, battery or something type thing like that in it. Because there was eyewitnesses around pretty much up until, as the smoke was starting to come out of the first bay that we saw it in and stuff, and there was nothing suspicious at that time. We got a lot of good pictures, so.
The Coug is the owner of one of those units that saw damage in the express storage fire. It is unclear at this time which unit they own, but what we do know is in their unit, it contained historical Coug memorabilia. The Coug confirmed they lost property in the fire. There were mugs from the Mug Club that were covered in oil and soot, but salvageable. Chief Irwin has said that the insurance companies that are tied to the owners of the units are doing their own investigations. For Murrow News 8, I'm Morgenmgwhite.
Murrow students got back last week from a trip to Armenia. Bruce Pinkleton is the dean of the Murrow College, and here's what he had to say about the BPJ program.
The beauty of backpack journalism really is that it gets Murrow College students, unfortunately it's a very small number, but out, typically abroad, covering some really amazing stories that that they would not normally have access to.
At first, Murrow College students were going to Guatemala. They pitched their story ideas in accordance to that location, so when Guatemala was ruled out due to safety concerns, they were left scrambling.
We found out that our trip had been changed 4 weeks before we flew to a new country. It was a really stressful experience. Story ideas came up, they didn't work out. I had to pivot. This happened over and over, and it kind of became a thing that when I got here, I knew I would figure it out.
Murrow students are here in Armenia to tell stories. I talked to one of those students, Jasper Wilson, to hear about what she's covering.
After I started doing a couple interviews, I was like, there's a story here about journalists. And it was really satisfying, and it kind of felt like a weight off my shoulders because I was like, okay, I have something. I am going to be looking at two topics, one within the area of kind of broadly journalism and journalists here in Armenia. And then the other one is looking at an interesting organization that I've never seen anything like it in the US.
I asked Jasper what her main takeaway was from the trip. She said personally she felt like she could do anything after those pivots. But she also said,
you can read about places in Armenia, you can read about these different landmarks, but you won't understand just the community feeling until you come here. And I hope maybe some of our stories can share that.